Welcome back to Sell Ready Podcast. Today's guest is Greg. He's an executive coach, a business growth advisor, and M&A strategist who has spent more than 2 decades helping entrepreneurs build stronger companies, develop as better leaders, and create businesses that can actually thrive without them. So, Greg, I'm very excited to have you here today.
Good to see you, Alyssa. Nice to be with you.
Yes, yes. Look, I know you've coached thousands of business owners over the years. Tell me about like the common patterns that you're seeing in founders today who successfully scale their business versus the people who stay stuck.
Well, the people who scale they have that openness to it. Some people are very stuck. They've got a business model, it's working, it's creating revenue. But the entrepreneurs that are able to scale are open to a lot of change because scaling is going to mean changing your practices, changing your business model, maybe your business plan. It's going to be, maybe changing some team members. It can feel very disruptive, Alyssa, but you can, if you do it with wisdom, it works, but you've got to be careful in how you scale because you can tank a business if you're not careful.
Yeah, yeah. And when you say like be careful as you scale, what do those things mean, right? I think that there's always it's always a balancing act to scale a business, right? You're having to
Yeah.
balance marketing, you're having to balance team, fulfillment, morale on all ends. And it's like
Yeah.
how do you help business owners kind of like fight through that period of growth?
Yeah, first we like to start with our mindset. Do they have the ability to be flexible, moldable? Can they really stretch themselves to invite more innovation? We're in the AI world now. We Coachwell has a new AI product. I mean, it's changing the way that we do business. And so you've got to be open to thinking differently before you can actually perform differently. So we like to start with the way people are thinking. What's their perspective? And then we've got to have a plan. And that plan's needs to be developed with some good research, but then it needs to be the team members need to be brought into it, Alyssa. I always like to say, if people don't weigh in, they don't buy in. And so we make sure that business owners, team members we allow them to weigh in and then we help them buy in because it's going to take a collective effort to make that business scale appropriately and to do it with, quick revenue turnaround. It's going to take an army to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And dig a bit deeper in there. You said if people don't weigh in, they don't buy in. What do you mean by that?
If you don't provide a setting or an environment where people are allowed to contribute to the plan, like let's just picture a conference room for a moment. The CEO walks in or the owner walks in, slaps the business plan on the counter and says, "Hey, everybody, we're going to scale the company and this is the plan and you're going to love it and do it." Nobody had a chance to weigh in. It's like, okay, boss, we'll do what you want us to do. But if you bring them in earlier into the process, let them weigh in by their ideas and contributions, and it's a collective, collaborative plan. Yeah. Now you need to bring them a recipe. You need to bring, the owner needs to bring them. That's why in our coaching, we usually work with the owner first and help them build a skeleton of the plan. And then we bring that to the team and help the team put flesh on it. Okay. And when they begin to get excited about it and envision it, they've been able to contribute towards it. Now we've got something that can actually be implemented.
And I've walked into businesses where the owner or the employees or the staff, they may have so much ownership over their domain that the owner is lacks awareness of what's even going on. What's even going on in sales? What's even
Yeah.
going on in marketing? They don't have a full scope. How are you guys positioning communication and unifying all the fragmented data as the team grows and scales?
Yeah, what we're trying to do now is we're trying to actually do a lot of interviewing with those team members and gathering all that data and then aggregating it using AI, aggregating it into a very comprehensive plan. So the owner and everybody actually, because people can silo easily, even inside a small company, people can silo, but this way it brings everything to the forefront. And then we sit there in a pretty good debriefing meeting going through the different components of the business. And there's a lot of light bulbs going on around the room. Well, I didn't know you were, what? I didn't know you were working on that. Or that's happening. Really? That's exciting. And so we help bring the business to a good current state before we can approach a future state. What? Because you're bringing up a great point, Alice, Alyssa. If we don't have a good current state, how in the world are we going to define a good future state? It's a very good point you bring up.
I mean, and that's and you can only do that through a blueprint. I say this all the time. Like you can't build a house without a blueprint. It's a reason why the architects do that first. And that's the
Yep.
same thing that you need to do for a company. I mean, we call it a company brain, right? We map out
Yeah.
the
That's
entire
good.
brain of the company, and all the lines are like the neurons. Like, how are all these things communicating and connecting to one another, right? And of course, like I love how you mentioned that. Hey, business owners need to understand how to use AI in today's day and age.
Yeah.
I wanna touch on that a bit later in our conversation.
Sure.
I wanna speak a bit about, helping people prepare for an exit. So, tell me even makes someone have a sellable business, and what do founders even wait too long to even address in their own company when they're looking
Yeah.
to prepare for a sell?
Alyssa, you bring up a very good point. How do you help people prepare for an exit? Well, we like to help them actually prepare for an exit at all times. Let me explain. If you have an asset, if you have a company, you want it to be sell ready at all times. You may not exit for 5 years, but if you build a company that's sell ready today, you're going to make better decisions. You're going to have standard SOPs. Okay, all your standard operating procedures are now outlined because we've got to be sell ready. You're going to make better business decisions with your finances. You're going to be hiring the right people. Those 5 team members that probably should have left maybe a couple years ago, you're going to go ahead and make that decision that, you know what, let me help them graduate to something else that they're more passionate about, they're more engaged in. So we like to help all of our companies be sell ready. We give everybody a valuation. We do a valuation up front. It's just part of our discovery. And then we have a dashboard where we keep updating that valuation every 6 months and for sure every year. So the best practices, team members, we would like to remove owner dependency. Owner dependency, as you know, Alyssa, is the number one blockage to a successful acquisition. If the business is dependent upon you or me, we don't have a business to sell. We're selling a job. And not very many investors want to buy a job. They want to buy an asset that they can invest in and scale up because they're going to be writing 2 checks, one to you to buy the business and one to operate it, right? So they're going to be writing 2 checks. They got to know they have an asset that they can get a return in that 3 to 5 year period, have a healthy return, and then scale up, and someday also have a larger acquisition for themselves. So does that answer your question, or did like me to add some more there? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, yeah, I completely agree. Founder dependency is one thing that truly hurts the valuation of a company. And I
Yeah.
also like to like shine light on that there's other ways to have concentration in your company as well. Sometimes that can be when it comes to marketing. If you're dependent on one funnel to generate your traffic, then that's also a dependency. It could not be a founder dependency, but maybe you're strongly dependent on a specific team member. That's also
Yes.
a killer to your valuation,
That's an
right?
excellent point. Yeah, it's an excellent point. Yeah, you're right. And if that team member got the proverbial hit by a bus, right, we're in a world of hurt. That's not good. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, and I completely agree. And so it's just like the only way to truly be aware of dependencies is it goes back to me like the data. When you're properly tracking metrics across marketing, across sales, across fulfillment, across support, the metrics, the data tells you, hey, there obviously is a concentration here. Here's where leakage,
Yeah.
or this is where we have bottlenecks, right? And that kind of gives you more direction to know like what to focus on, where to fix, where to
Right.
hire more, where to
Yeah.
systematize, right? And so I completely agree there. If you were sitting across from a founder, one of the thousands of founders that you've coached, and they wanted to just double the value of their company in the next 24 months, what would you tell them to focus first?
I would say you want to focus on your team first. Do you have the right talent around you, surrounding you right now to take this company to the next level? Now, preceding that is actually, are you the right person to take your own company to the next level?
Yeah, it's a
Are
tough
you willing
conversation.
to be, a bit reptilian? Are you willing to shed some skin of things we've always done to shed those old skins and to try some new approaches?
Yeah.
So we have to start with the owner themselves or the CEO, and then that team, and then we move into evaluating. Are there new verticals that we could rise up? Is there auxiliary services that we could add to our existing products? By the way, we have too many products here. We have too many SKUs. Okay. Yeah, we those 20 of those SKUs aren't even selling very well. Exactly. We need to like get rid of those SKUs. We need to concentrate down to what's our core. So there's a lot there, but I'd say usually it's starting right here with the owner, founders like you and I, and then moving into their team. Do we have the right talent? And then we can look at the potential of what's out there. Maybe there's two or three acquisitions we could take them through to go acquire synergistic strategic companies to accelerate quickly, to maximize EBITDA quickly, right? I mean, that's the accelerated path.
Right. I mean, agreed, agreed. And so, one, of course, being able to examine the founder, what type of decisions do you have to make as a founder in order to be able to accelerate growth? From there, what resources? You got to look at human capital. You have to look at the actual money in the bank account. What resources
Yeah.
do we have, and what this it also drives the decisions in which we can make. Right. It's always, I think, it's always
Yeah.
a conversation between your runway and your goal. Runway
Yeah.
versus goal. Our runway kind
Yeah.
of tells us what we're actually working with financially. We look at our human capital, and then we are always comparing that against the actual goal and the target. And how can we utilize our current our current resources to be able to reach that goal? And so yeah, I love all the strategies that you shared, like growing through acquisition, growing through just having the right team in place, having the right
Yeah.
systems in place,
Yeah.
and growing through shedding the fat. I like trim the fat. When you trim the fat, that may be your quickest way to grow, because if your focus is diverted in 10 different directions, by trimming the fat, it allows for you to have more driven, selected focus. And that's the one thing that you need to do to expedite growth. And yeah, those are tons of good strategies that I think all work.
Alyssa, we have a process called a stop list. So before we start building a strategic plan to grow further, to scale grow, we always do a stop list exercise. What can we stop doing right now that we don't need to do any longer to create more capacity, maybe more cash, maybe we can more talent. And so what can we stop doing? Because most businesses, including yours and mine, we need to do a stop list at least every year of looking at things that we can stop because what it comes down to when you have a great plan is that can you implement it? Do you have the capacity to implement these great strategies? That means you're going to have to stop doing something, right? To have the time to even implement the beautiful strategies that have been built. So I love the stop list. A lot of people are like, stop list? What do you mean? Stop doing some things? Yeah, the things that are no longer working, the things that are no longer relevant, right? I mean, business is moving, especially with AI today, it's moving at 200 miles an hour. I mean, you got to get, you have to catch up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I love that. It's super close to the philosophy that I use. Every time I make a to-do list, I make a to-don't list, because as many things as there are things to do, there also are equally or more things to don't.
Yeah,
And which is true, because I think about focus like this, just like a camera or like your eyes. When you're looking at something, you know all the things beside you, they're a bit blurry. You can only truly focus on the one thing that you're looking at.
yeah,
And so everything else that's in the peripheral has to become to don'ts. It has to become part of that stop list, right? So you
yeah.
can truly expedite that goal being reached. So I mean, I love that philosophy of the stop list. You know, you guys should coin it. You guys should coin it. And so moving on here. Look, I want to dig a bit more into, like, I know you have a book, Enemies of Excellence.
Yeah.
I want to, like, in your book. Yeah, I know you talk about the things that are actually hurting entrepreneurs. Like, which one do you see that is the factor that's hurting entrepreneurs the most today, and why?
You know, it's going to sound very elementary. So everybody hang on for a moment, okay? Is that what we do in today's modern world? Let me just give you a quick background. I was born in 1960. Okay, so everybody now knows I'm my age. In the 60s and 70s, we didn't have internet. There was no cell phones. Okay, when my dad came home from work, he was done. He couldn't work anymore because everything he needed to do at his work was at where? Work. Well, not anymore. Now it's right here. Our office is right here, right? So the challenge we have today is we don't have as much focus or strategic initiatives or energy because we're not replacing it as much now. In the evenings, we had dinner, people would come across the street, we would visit, people would have time to come off of the high of work and rest and recuperate and recalibrate. This is hard in modern day culture today. So, what am I saying? In my book, I talk about systematic renewal. There are renewal patterns excuse me, there are renewal habits. When I go for a walk after this podcast and walk along the river now, I'm not going to take my phone because I need to get away from screens. I'm going to go walk and just breathe and look at the children and look at the water. And that walk is going to, it's been proven, and I'll be 60% more productive when I get back. Wow. Just by taking a quick break. So I talk about how to renew ourselves mentally, emotionally, relationally, and physically. We've got to actually make this a project now in our modern culture. We plug all our devices in, right? But we don't know how to plug ourselves into renewal patterns. And so we start with our entrepreneurs helping them renew. So that when they come to the office, they've got energy, they've got vitality, they've got innovative ideas, they've got their ability to talk and communicate and collaborate with people is so much higher. So today, it really is learning how to build systematic renewal patterns that build sustainable success over a long period of time. And Alyssa, here's one more thing. If we are in systematic renewal patterns, we are less susceptible to sabotage, failure, because we have energy and a very state of mind that we're strong. If we're in a weakened state where we're held up by energy drinks or coffee all day long and we're just barely getting through the day, we're vulnerable to bad habits. We're vulnerable to things that are going to making bad decisions. And one bad decision in a business could take you out. So the key is that's a big focus of my book and what I've learned over the years of as we've coached, thousands of people, that's what we've actually learned.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think about it just like a car. A car needs fuel, and it's important for a founder to have that fuel, that thing that pushes them.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm also susceptible to this as well, right? Like we all sometimes get wrapped up in the business. But I remember this one time, like really sitting down with my coach. Everyone's coach needs a coach, by the way. Sitting down with my coach, they're
Absolutely.
like, "Look, Alyssa, you have to do like your passion because your passionate is what fuels you."
Yeah.
Right? And that's what gives you the fuel to be able to lead and be able to execute what you need to execute properly in a business. And so, I mean, I think that those renewal patterns that you communicate in the book when it comes to, hey, touching grass, I tell everyone that works with me, hey, get outside this weekend and go touch grass. I don't care if you're outside on the patio, prefer to go out, in nature and go touch
Yep.
grass, go experience it because that's what you need in order to renew,
Yeah.
refresh, get that fuel that you need to be
Yeah.
able to push through and become that best version of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, nature is one of our quickest ways to mentally and emotionally recover. By the way, our emotions are the hardest to recover. They take longer than anything else. Mental and emotional recovery is are the two accounts that take more strategies and they take longer to recover.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
physically is faster, but I mean, even sleep today. Okay, let's say people are just not sleeping well. There's a lot of reasons for that. We don't have time to get into it today, but I mean, you know, I made sure I get really good rest, and I really make sure I take really good care of myself, and so that I can continually add value to you because you're important. Our clients are important. My family's important. These beautiful people behind me, those are all important. I want to be able to give 'em my best, and therefore the systematic renewal patterns are really, really powerful.
I couldn't agree more. And that leads
Yeah.
me to look, we actually ask every guest these questions, every founder, every decision maker these questions, because these next questions that we call the operator stack, because we're building a data
Okay.
set around how high level decision makers and operators actually think when it comes to building companies. So I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. This actually is a really great runway here because after you renew, now it's about like making proper decisions.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And so I'll run through these very quickly. What's the first principle or framework that you're actually relying on?
Clarity. I want to make sure I understand what that decision is and what the contributing factors are. Stop, pause, and get full clarity. Get full context. Yeah.
So important. Having context. That's
Yeah.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Okay. When it comes to scaling, so what's the most common bottleneck that you see consistently that prevents a business from scaling effectively?
It really is having enough hands involved in the scale to bring it to fruition. People just get tired and stop. So you've got to have the right, even if you have to go out and hire, contractors to come in or hire other help. It usually comes down to just energy to drive the change. There's not enough hands involved and there's not enough energy. The second thing is people are trying to rush it too hard. I'm like, listen, give a little bit more time here. It's okay. You don't have to scale by yesterday.
Mhm.
So I think having the energy, having enough people, and then giving it the right amount of time.
Yeah, okay. I love it. And the energy, the
Yeah.
people, and the time. Okay. Now, when it comes to hiring, right? I know to find the right people, you have to understand how to evaluate people. So
Yes.
evaluating leadership or teams, like what's one signal that immediately tells you that someone's A plus talent?
If they come in asking us questions, that's a very good sign. If they are interviewing us, that's a very good sign. So, we use assessments and all kinds of things. I'm sure we all do, friends. But I would say if that person comes in that door and has enough confidence to be asking me questions as the founder and my team questions, aha, now I'm sitting up in my seat saying, okay, we might have a candidate here.
Right. Right, right. When they're coming, they did their research. They have questions. They seem experienced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just know you're sitting in front of a superstar.
Yeah, they're looking to see if you're the right fit for them. I'm like, "Okay, we got somebody now. This is what we want. We want people like that in our team, right? We want people who are seeing if we're the right fit. Love that all day long. Challenge me, push me, see if we are the right company for you." And
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I get super excited in an interview when that happens.
Yeah, I go. I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, my last question here for you regarding our operator side. What's a mistake that you see business owners repeat over and over again that really cost them the most?
I think the most common mistake made in business today is putting the wrong people in positions that don't have the experience, the capability, or the behavior style to actually get it done. This is a very common mistake. Let's say you have Greg and you want to put him into who's an extrovert. He on the disc scale, he's a high I, a high D. He's very motivated. You're going to put him in a back office looking at spreadsheets all day. Not a good idea, right? He was built to be out in front of people. He's not built to be in the back up. Now, are spreadsheets important? Absolutely. But so this misunderstanding of I've got a person, I'll just put him in whatever I need. No, no, no. How's that person wired? What's their capabilities? Let's have that. In fact, we help all of our companies profile every team member to know exactly what talent they have, their behavior styles, that person's superpowers. If you match a superpower to the right position, now you've got traction, right?
Yeah,
But
that
I
matters.
think otherwise, that's a common mistake. I have a live body, just put them in the game. Well, okay, and they got crushed. Well, because you didn't even know who you're putting in the game and what position. Wonder they got
Yeah.
crushed. There's no
Of
I think that's the
course. I
most
mean,
common mistake.
yeah, no, I couldn't agree more there. So it's about properly. We think about product market fit all the time, but like, what about making sure that that team member is fit with their role, and that it makes sense for them, right? Like, you could have a
Yeah,
superstar, but a superstar playing the wrong role, being the wrong
yeah,
team member, it's not going to work. They're
no,
not gonna love it. They're going to resent it, and they're not gonna be able to perform because you're not putting them in a position to win.
right. And
Yeah,
time is not gonna fix that, Alyssa. I don't care how much time you well, they just need more time. No, I'm sorry. Time's
yeah.
not gonna fix that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about context too, like you stated, like getting clarity. I love the personality test, you know? I mean, I myself, I'm an INTJ. Every team
Ah,
member I
okay.
work with, I bring in, they have to take a personality test as well. The DISC test. Those allow for you to get more context on a person because of course
Oh, yeah.
no one's gonna be an open book right away. But being able to get enough context so you or whoever's placed them in the right position can determine, okay, this is where I can help you excel and be the best
Yeah.
version of yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we have so many great tools today. I mean, there's so many great assessments, right? So they're all there and they're very affordable. So yeah, you're right. Why don't we use those outside insight? I like to say let's get some outside insight on this, you know. And an assessment's so good. It would take you 10 years to get what I just can do in 15 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
true. And so, I mean, today I know you mentioned the how important it is to build a great business and how important it is to build a great life and how that should maybe even happen at the same time. All right.
I love it. Yeah.
How do entrepreneurs like really avoid sacrificing the health, the relationships, and even happiness in the pursuit of growth?
Yeah, I think, well, we try to help all of our, we tell all of our founders and owners this. We're going to help you have a greater personal life. You're going to earn more money and have more time. They go, "What are you smoking, man?" I'm like, "Are you crazy? That can't happen." Like, "No, no, it actually can." So, what we help them understand is that they've got 3 to 5 hours, sometimes more, in a week that are just being wasted. Why don't we reinvest those 3 to 5 hours in a couple different ways? One is in your renewal, and those patterns are gonna help you. I was in the gym this morning, got a great workout in, right? Came in here ready to just tear the place apart. Got a great night's sleep, brought the right food today, ate really well last night. I mean, I'm hydrating very effectively so I can be energetic for you today. Well, let's say I'm all my clients. So I think the key is when you do that, everything you do is more effective, more efficient, and then turn now and be a good collaborator, a good coaching leader. Raise up talent around you, replicate great people around you. That's the secret to doing both of those at the same time. Having a great life and having a great business and having it scaling and growing, that's the secret. Move from a centralized leader who has too many meetings. Do you have too many things you're doing? No, no, no. Turn to a collaborative leader who knows how to empower people.
Yeah.
And then both of those can happen at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And the better you are, the better your business. The better you make yourself, the better your business. The more sleep you're getting, the better you can show up. The better food you're eating, the more energy you have to last throughout the day
Yeah.
and be the leader that you need to be.
Yeah. And then really investing in those people. They are your most valuable asset. People think their products are, they're not. Your people are your most valuable asset. I know you're excited about your widget or your software, or whatever it might be, but your people are your most valuable asset.
Yeah.
And, when you get to do both of those, when you really learn how to empower someone and empower a team, look out. Your business can go crazy. That's why we have a whole academy that teaches people how to do that.
Yeah.
We have a coaching agent that also is a trainer to help them learn and apply all those principles. So I think the key is that that's what I have found, at least over my, you know, 25 years of doing this professionally and almost now 50 years of actually being in leadership myself and starting several successful companies, three now, that's worked. It's worked for thousands of clients.
I love it. On that note, Greg, I truly appreciate your time today. I mean, we had a
Sure.
phenomenal conversation. Where can people find you if they're looking to check you guys out and work with you all?
They can come just to coachwell.com. Just think of the word coach and well, WELL, one word, coachwell.com. Come check us out. You can click on there and email us directly or schedule a time to jump in. We have a calendar link, schedule time with us. We'd love to do some discovery with you and see if we can assist you. So
Fantastic,
coachwell.com.
fantastic. Yep, all the links will be below. Make sure you check out Greg on LinkedIn as well. Make sure you check out subreddit.ai, and we'll be excited to have you on the next episode. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate it.